Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we have a brand new product here to test out here, and it's the DIY Detail Rinseless Wash. A brand new product to the market. The whole brand is new. You guys have seen Ivan and Nick on their YouTube channel. Again, if you want to know more about them, just go to their website or head over to their YouTube channel where they cover everything in depth here. If you want to know more about the brand there, just go ahead and check them out, look them up, and you can find all the information on it. For me, this was the only product that I really had that feeling where I had to try it. All the other ones to me don't really get me interested to try them out. So we're just going to try this rinseless wash because I have a bunch of rinseless washes here to compare them to. Now we're not going to do a side-by-side comparison in terms of me washing a car with one product versus this. This is just my initial impressions using the product, and the car we're going to use it on is my Grand Prix here. We had some rain during the middle of the week, which did me a service because the car hadn't been washed in like 2 weeks, and so the self-cleaning effect of the coating came into play here, where all that heavy rain kind of rinsed most of the dirt off the surface. The only part that really has some dirt left over is in the spoiler, because it's a bird bath in there. Again, just a quick rinseless wash. I will be doing just the painted surfaces with this product. The wheels, I already filled the bucket with wipeout here. So when it comes to rinseless washes, you have multiple categories of where they fall into. You have your ceramic infused, now there's graphene infused products here. Now these products here are designed to leave protection behind. These are like washing coats. These are going to leave protection behind. These are going to alter your surface protection to a degree because you're topping it with a durable form of protection. So you got to keep that in mind. Then you have surfactant based rinseless washes. Now these use surfactants to do the work. They are still safe methods to wash the car. It's just a different way to do it. Again, these work just fine. If you're using one bucket, it will do the job just fine versus using 2 buckets or whatever. You can get away with 1 bucket with these. I've been using N914 for years. Pure Rinseless is a fantastic rinseless if you want a deep clean on your ceramic coating. So that's why I have it on hand. I don't really use it that often, only when I really want to deep clean the ceramic coating. N914, again, you guys have seen that video on there recently. Then you have your polymer-based rinseless washes, Optimum No Rinse to American Detailer Garage Wipeout. Now these use polymer technology to help you clean the paint, unlike surfactants. Just a different way to do it. Now these, as soon as people hear polymers, they're like, oh my god, this is going to alter my beading and sheeting of my coating or wax or sealant, whatever you have on the surface. Again, all these products are going to leave something behind, especially these. Surfactant-based products will still leave something on the surface, whether it's minimal or not. These will also leave something on the surface. Again, it's minimal at best for all of these. If you're so concerned about it, you can always come back and use a panel wipe to remove it, but in most cases, everyone's using a drying aid. That really negates the whole thing, the whole worry about this altering the surface tension of my car and the beading and sheeting. These are not going to do that either. Now DIY Detail Rinseless Wash falls into the category like in the middle of these here. And what I mean by that is, in one of their latest videos, they stated that this is a mixture, a combination. Let's put it on there. It's a combination of surfactants and polymers in the product. So it is going to foam. So if I shake it, you'll see it foaming. That's just the surfactants in the product. So the other thing is, they state on here, so if let's start looking at directions here. So if you're going to do, it says here, rinseless wash utilizes new technology and emulsifiers and polymers to lift dirt and debris away from the surface without scratches. So if you're doing hand washing, it's 1 ounce to 2 gallons of water, again 256 to 1 standard dilution. And it says soak a plush wash mitt or towel in the bucket and wash one section at a time using straight lines until clean. Dry panel using a clean plush microfiber towel. If you want to use it in a foam cannon, they state to use 4 to 5 ounces into your foam gun cannon and fill with water. Spray the car, then use a wash mitt soaked in rinseless solution and clean straight lines. So I asked, how many ounces of rinseless wash do I need to put into a foaming pump sprayer? And they came back and said 4 ounces, or you can say you can try 3 ounces. So we're going to try 3. Again, I'm already using most of the product at this point, and that's this 16-ounce bottle. It comes in at $19, 19 US dollars. So you kind of just know that going forward. It's not the cheapest product, you know. For 16-ounce bottles, you know, these are I think this one's a little cheaper than this. I can't recall. Adams is still the cheapest because they're always having sales. So I have 3 gallons of water in my bucket here, so I'm going to put 45 milliliters of product in there, and I always make extra because I take product. I take my pump spray, which you'll see. I don't know about the color, man. It looks like I'm dropping off a sample at the doctor, but it smells good. It has a really good scent to it. So I'm going to bring this closer. We're just going to mix this up in here just to kind of get that going. And like I said, I'm going to take my pump sprayer here. This is a Marilex pump sprayer. My Harbor Freight one is, yeah, it's seen better days. It's no longer working very well. But again, that's only $5. Okay, so that's good. So this is going to be my pre-soak of the product here. Okay, so we got that in there. Just go ahead and leave that in there. Now, as far as the wash media here, I brought my different sponges here because I am going to be using it primarily with the McKee's Gold Sponge. So let me just open the bag here. So this is the McKee's Gold Sponge. Again, same shape to the Big Red sponge. This is my original Big Red sponge that's over a decade old. So you can see it's the same size. Here's the Ultra Black sponge, which is, you know, primarily roughly the same size. Ergonomics are a bit better because you're, you know, depends on how big your hands are with this one. But I'll tell you what, this one feels the softest out of all these. So this one's pretty soft. And then I'll give it to the UBS as the next one, and then the Big Red sponge on there. So I'm not using my new Big Red sponge because that one hasn't softened up yet. So I'm just going to squeeze this in here and let it soak, just to kind of get some product in there. We'll get the UBS in there. I'm going to use all 3 sponges here just to kind of compare them and see if this one works in conjunction like that. So, you know, it gets pretty stuffed in here with these. So that's that. So now let's get the foaming pump sprayer ready. Again, I have I don't know, almost 2,000 milliliters of water in there, just shy of that. So we're going to try 3 ounces, which is going to give me 30, 60, 90 milliliters of product here. So again, I'm going to be going through product quite a bit. I mean, just to get it to foam. I mean, I've already used, you know, I'm down here. I've used 4.5 ounces of product. So we'll dump that in there. We'll see how it foams. Let me rinse this out. So we'll see how this foams up. I'll tell you what, this stuff smells good. Yeah, I don't even know, I forget what the scent is, but it smells good. Okay, now I have the foaming nozzle, the max foaming nozzle in here. I'm just gonna leave the max one in here. I can take it off and check it out. Okay, so let me just go ahead and take these pump sprayers out there, and then the bucket. I'm gonna get the other pump sprayer here. So let's see how this thing foams. Somebody was asking me how, you know, can you compare the foam to Fusion? And so we'll see how it foams. We're almost there. Okay, so again, it's got the max foam tip on here. Yeah, that's pretty comparable. So actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna swap the nozzle. Let me take the tip off here. gonna swap the tip, and I'm gonna put the normal one on here if I can get this thing off. My hands are all wet. And what you want to do with these is flush them out. So I'm gonna have to flush that out when I'm done, because they will clog up with foam in there. Okay. And let's see what the medium foam looks like. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'll tell you what, this foam's just as good, equally well, like Fusion. With the amount I put in here is about the same what you're going to use with Fusion. Let me just do half the car here with the foaming aspect here. Yeah, so here there's a lot of dirt you can see in there. Okay, so that's what it does foaming. That's pretty good. And of course, when you use it as a non-foaming pump sprayer, it's just going to be direct product coming out. So let's take the gold sponge here. And we'll wash the car here. I think for those of you that have soft paint, this is probably going to be the sponge that you want. Like I said, it feels softer than the other two. Like I always do it, just because this picked up, you can see the dirt in here. I'll just use it on the glass, because I'm not too worried if the glass is going to scratch. Here's the non-foaming side. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch over to the big red sponge. Like I said, my big red sponge has softened up over the years. Like I said, this thing's over a decade old. And it still works very good. Okay, so let's take the black sponge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the hood here. And again, if you're worried that there's still like dirt in here, it's kind of hard to see because most of it came off, then just go over it one more time. So let's clean this back piece. And because it's an overcast day, gotta be careful there. You can see I picked up all the dirt in the sponge. It's pretty cool out here, so I'm not too worried about, you know, the product drying on the surface or anything like that. Okay, just a quick little agitation on the grit guard will clean your sponge. All right. So that's pretty much it, people, as far as the rinseless wash goes. And we'll take the towel here. And if I don't feel like using any drying aid, you know, if I felt like this thing was drying on me, I could just come back with product on the pump sprayer, which I should have filled a trigger sprayer. Again, you don't need a drying aid. You can see my towel, all the dirt that was there on the surface is not on the towel. It ended up in the bucket. Cool. So this thing dried off kind of cool. This protection is really dead up there. All those coatings have failed. It's starting to get clear coat failure up there. If you wanted to use a drying aid, you could. I'm choosing not to use one today. Just to kind of see how this product works without the need of a drying aid. So it's not as slick as some of these other ones. You know, like PNS is to me felt slicker. Felt slicker to me when I was drying it. This feels like the same slickness as like O&R. Okay, put that there for a minute. Come back and just mop up any excess. Go ahead. You know, I was trying to look for my videos that I did for the Art to Shine glass coating version 2. Well, I guess I deleted them because I wanted to show the application, and I'll tell you what, man, that coating is pretty sweet, the new version. Alright, so I'm going to just flip it to another side of the towel. And just continue to dry this off. Again, my towel's coming up pretty clean, so those sponges did the work. Yes, the car wasn't heavily dirty, but again, you don't want to rinseless a car that's heavily dirty. There's a limitation as to when to do one. Because if it's too dirty, then you need to take out a hose or your pressure washer to dry that off, or to blast the dirt off in order to get started with the rinseless wash. So it does a good job cleaning. It's pretty decent here. I mean, typical. Nothing over the top. You can still see I left a little bit of those caked on things, but they come off. Okay, let me just go dry the back. Yeah, so it's not as slick as the as PNS when you're drying the surface, or it's not as slick as American Detailer Garage or the Adams one. It does leave a slickness on the surface. I'm gonna have to come back and touch that up. You can see all these scratches here too because the clear coat's failing on this trunk lid here. I gotta do something about that. I'll have to mop up this water in a second. I'll just use this towel. I don't like doing this with this just yet because then my towel gets heavily saturated quicker. And I have to end up using 2 towels. Okay, you can see my towel kind of just bunches up here because the surface is still wet. All right, so that's it for the wash process of, you can see my towel gets that, when I got the spoiler, you can see how heavily saturated that got on there. But that's it with doing a rinseless wash with DIY details. You can see that in the Marilix pump sprayer, it did foam up pretty well. You know, foam was comparable to Fusion. Again, if you could put the right dilution in there, it's comparable to Fusion. You're going to be going through quite a bit of product if you're just going to buy a 1 16-ounce bottle of DIY detail for that. But the gloss looks good. Again, because your paint's, number one, clean. It does have a nice slickness underneath your towel. So it does feel it. But again, in the back of my hand, I don't feel it. But when I put the towel on the surface, I can feel it. Let me dry the roof here because I didn't dry it off. So it will leave slickness behind. Like I said, not as slick as some of these other ones, but it's still there. So that's pretty much it. You know, hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of how to use the product. That yes, you can foam it, so that, you know, there's surfactants in the rinseless wash along with polymers in there. The car looks good. I mean, it's not overly dirty because, like I said, the rain kind of washed most of that off because the coating did me a good job here. That feels pretty good. So we'll get to final thoughts in a second here. I just want to give you guys a demo of using this product, and you can see that works pretty good. Is it game changing? Let me finish the car and we'll get to that, because I am going to be using, I think I'll just use the foaming stuff on the wheels as well on here. So I'm going to do the rest of the car with just the regular pump sprayer here. So for example, if I do the pre-soak, you know, for this side of the hood, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. You know, the foaming is great if you had a little bit more caked on dirt. If your car's like clean, semi-clean like this, where you're just cleaning up, you know, a week's worth of driving, because you can see the car's not heavily dirty, you can just use the product by itself. The foaming looks cool. And if you wanted to use a drying aid, hey, by all means use a drying aid. You don't need to with the rinseless wash. Look at that Art to Shine glass coating. Look at that. Pretty good. So I'm just going to pre-soak like this. I can show you on camera, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish washing it. And then I'll come back with final thoughts on it here. You can see the way it encapsulates the dirt in the product there. So you can see that dirt is just encapsulated right now. I just flooded it, but it encapsulates the dirt in there. So let me just go ahead and finish washing this car, but it gives you an idea of how the car is going to look once you're done. And again, you don't have to use a drying aid, as I mentioned before, because it's going to leave you a nice shine on the surface. So let me just go ahead and knock this out, and then we'll come back with final thoughts on the DIY detail rinseless wash. And yeah, so stay tuned for that. In the Grand Prix, and I use the DIY detail rinseless wash. One thing I didn't point out is it states wash and shine, so there's some gloss enhancement in here. So the car does look shiny, glossy. And one thing I want to reiterate here is that this product has plenty of lubrication when you're washing and drying. I can actually feel some slight slickness as I take my towel over the surface. I apologize for the guy making noise out there in this truck. And yeah, so you can actually feel some slickness. I think I didn't want people to kind of misinterpret what I stated as the product not having enough slickness during your wash process, enough lubrication. It does. It has plenty of lubrication in here. You can actually trust this product. Again, Ivan LaCroix is one of the should we call him the founding father? Should we call him founding, whatever you want to call him, of the rinseless wash market here? He brings his expertise from Optimum into the brand. So again, trust the science. He brings his knowledge to the brand, and again, it's a safe product. So just kind of recap, I did a rinseless wash on the Grand Prix. Used the Marilex non-foaming pump sprayer with the pre-soak. I just dunked this in the bucket, and I used that primarily on the entire car there. And then I made a foaming pre-soak where I put 3 ounces of product, which is 90 milliliters, into roughly about 60 ounces, like 1800 milliliters or so. You saw the foaming capability of it, and the foaming capability is comparable to American Detailer Garage Fusion. Like I said, it's comparable to this. Dilution, if you're kind of break it down, very similar, 1 to 20. Very similar to Larry's. I forget what his. I forget what his is called at the moment. I'm trying to blank on his brand there. Frothy. There you go. Same dilution as the Adams foam and wash there. Now, again, this has good lubrication. I felt each sponge glide on the surface effortlessly, so there's no problem there. It cleans well. Overall, just a good product. It does a good job. So if you're looking to try a new product, I definitely recommend giving this a consideration. I heard they're coming out with a 32-ounce bottle pretty soon, and I'm pretty sure they're working on their gallon containers as well. And it smells good. So if you like a good scent during your wash process, this actually has a good scent. You can't really notice it when you're using it, maybe because I was outdoors, but it does have a good scent. What else? I think that's pretty much all I can say about the product. I think it's a good product, and if you already have your favorite product, maybe you're not interested in this, but maybe once you run low and you want to try something different, then consider buying this. If you're new on the market to rinseless washing, this is a good option to have, to pick one up. But I'd probably wait for the 32-ounce bottle and kind of see where that's priced at, because for $18 for a 16-ounce bottle, I can just buy a 32-ounce bottle of Absolute, and it's more cost effective. So overall, good product. I think it can compete with all these other ones. I think it's a contender for all these here. And I'm going to just give you like my top rinseless washes here, in terms of, I'm going to rank them here, the top 5, and I'll let you know where this DIY detail falls in. So for me, N914 was my top dog for a long time. It cleans well, just does a good job. Absolute has stolen that top category for me. I think this is a fantastic product. It just does everything good. I'm not too worried about whether it's leaving something on the surface or not. I don't really care about that stuff anymore. But for me, this has actually stolen the top spot from having McKee's as my #1 product. So I'm dropping this to #2. And then I'm going to put DIY Details #3, just using it. I think it's a good product, and I think it cleans well. I think it does a good job. I think it's right there with some of the best of them. And I'll say that it's better than O&R. So O&R, I'm going to put this as #4. I'm going to put American Detailer Garage Wipeout as #5. So these will be my top 5 favorite products. If you wanted to put Fusion in there, I'll put Fusion #6, and then I'll put the Adams one at #7. So that's kind of the way it would be. Again, if you're looking for top 5, it'd be right here. And I'd give Absolute my top rinseless wash product there. So I think DIY Details onto something here. I think they have a good product there as well. So thanks for watching. If you guys have any comments or questions, go ahead and post down below. If you've used this product here, go ahead and post your thoughts down below as well. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about it. If you haven't used the product, would you consider using this and giving it a try? So other than that, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.